This is Jam Nation.
With Jonesy and Amanda.
Did you get fined for any sort of COVID breaches?
No,
last
did you?
year?
I kept my breeches on.
No, I'm a bit of a law abider that way.
I am too, but they've scrapped a lot of them now. Most of them, haven't they? And if you did get fined, chances are you'll be reimbursed.
Well, do you remember that they were very vague rules? There was a story about two guys standing in Newtown eating noodles, and a police officer came and said, "What are you guys doing?" And they said, "Well, we're eating noodles." And he fined them both $1,000 each.
Whew.
And they stood there and Googled the law and said, "We're allowed to do this." And the cop said, "I don't care, I'm writing you a fine."
But not all the coppers are to blame, because they were put in this position as well, with this sort of generic, you're not allowed to be outside. Some days you could be outside but sitting down. I got moved along by a police officer. I'd been for a walk with my friend with the dog. You're allowed to exercise. I got a bad hip, sat down, and I was told to move on.
So what did they say to you?
Oh, they just said, you're not allowed to sit here. Off you go. So when we think back now, it was the strangest of times. Remember that story of the guy, we all saw him on the news in his red Bondi Speedos, being wrestled to the ground at the beach.
Yeah.
He was the only person swimming.
And the irony, the fact that the police officers are manhandling this man who's outdoors, everyone's making themselves more susceptible to COVID.
Yeah.
Because they're all touching each other.
And a lot of these fines were from areas too where communities felt vilified.
Certainly in the parts of our western suburbs and like around Redfern and stuff like that.
That's right. And so people who are being forced to pay these fines, now they will be reimbursed, and the process to fine you, to continue chasing you for money, will stop.
So in the Supreme Court yesterday, the government conceded 2 COVID-19 fines, said that they were invalid.
But there's thousands, aren't there?
But they've withdrawn 33,000 of them as well.
And they're prepared to reimburse
But I
you.
don't know what that means if you've already paid for it. Say, in the case of the 2 noodle eaters.
No, they will reimburse you.
So they're going to get the money back.
Imagine the paperwork to go through all that.
What a pain.
But, you know, it was a crazy time, and the fines were vague and were very confusing. And as they say here, they may have helped curb COVID, but they came at a great cost. And when we look back at it now, I think we're still shell-shocked.
Yeah.
A bit of post-traumatic stress disorder as to what we've all been through together. Some of parts of our community hit harder than others.
Those crazy times way back this time last year.
Yeah, I know.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So here's to 2023.
COVID's not over. We know
it's
that,
not.
but these fines are.
But they talk about that in the 1920 pandemic, when that came through. It took about 5 years for it to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And then the roaring 20s ensued. But then there was a depression in the 30s.
Well, let's just go for the roaring bit.
Surely the definition of insanity is doing something wrong and then doing it over and over again. Surely we will learn from our mistakes and perhaps not have a depression in 2030. What about that?
Well, yes. I mean, what about that? Of course, let's choose that.
Well, let's choose that.
Well, do you know the events that led up to it? It's easy for you to say, don't repeat it. What were they?
Well, that was the banks went too hard on the they wanted you to recall the debt. So if you owned a bit of money on your house, whatever that is, they said, "Oh, we want your money now. We want all the money now." And some people, you can't, like, you might have $40,000 left on your house. But you can't afford that. Not many people have $40,000.
Is this what led to the Depression in the 1930s?
Yeah, because the banks panicked.
Well, this is what's happened in America too, with all those home loans.
Oh, the low doc loans, yes. Yeah, so that's why the Reserve Bank, while they're sorry that I'm going down this path because I have no idea of what I'm talking about, but I do have a vague understanding. That's why the Reserve Bank was... they've been, they apologise for those people that put themselves into mortgage stress.
Yes,
because they said we're not going to raise the interest rates.
That's been part of what the Banking Royal Commission was, is that they have now clamped down on giving people easy home loans if they don't feel they can support them.
But it means, I guess, just be conservative. Look after yourself as far as being conservative with what you borrow, what you're going to buy. Do you need a new jet ski this year, for example?
I think people aren't buying jet skis.
I'm talking to you.
Well, I think your wisest words were, hey, how about we don't go into another depression?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ask us about it, because we're the financial gurus.
That's not great. We want the roaring 20s.